Good morning, everyone. It's really lovely to be back in the shrine room after a week by the sea, feeling refreshed. Welcome to everyone in the shrine room. Welcome to Martin, who's joining us on Zoom. And this morning we will begin with a Dharma glimpse by Philip, read by Philip.
Thanks. 2035 Dharma glimpse by Tiame. Some months back, as I was considering my next career move, after an unexpected complication had uprooted me in my then employment role, I experienced a moment of synchronistic alignment that influenced my decision about how to proceed. The sudden interruption to my life plans had sent me into a panic. I didn't really feel ready to start a new job or venture into a new, or indeed old and familiar line of work. I was working long hours in the care industry and had felt quite settled. Steady work, decent money, and reasonably predictable working relationships. On a regular night shift that I was working, I would often listen to podcasts or watch videos of interesting spiritual teachers unpacking esoteric concepts and tying them into everyday living scenarios. On this particular night, the speaker was making predictions about the near future effects of climate breakdown and when they might begin to seriously impact on our day-to-day lives. As I was putting an entry into the company's communications book and writing the time as 2035, the speaker was making his prediction of the 2035 being a tipping point, beyond which normal life would change unrecognizably. The exact moment that I wrote the time was the exact moment that he said the date. Now, this might not seem like a big deal on face value, but to me, this was quite a shock. I'd had similar experiences in the past, whereby my attention had been drawn to something important in exactly this way. Like a poke in the back or a tap on the shoulder, intended to nudge me into a new train of thought, which it certainly did. I can't really do justice to the moment here, but can say that I felt inspired to investigate the significance of 2035. Eventually, I found myself scouring the Bible as I knew that scripture was organized in this numerical way in the Testaments. In fact, I had some personally significant ones memorized for the purpose of spiritual sustenance. Eventually, I put into the search engine on my phone, and it came up with a variety of translations of the passage Acts 20:35, which states, "I have shewed you all things, how that so labouring ye ought to support the weak, and to remember the words of the Lord Jesus, how he said, it is more blessed to give than to receive." Brackets King James Version. This sent a shiver down my spine, and even now gives me goosebumps and a sense of warmth and comfort, like I'm being guided in quite a specific way towards quite a specific purpose. The instruction to support the weak could surely never be better fulfilled than in the day-to-day activities of a care worker who helps elderly people do all the things they can no longer do for themselves. And quite obviously, in this way, it is surely better to give than to receive. This moment of religious inspiration informed my decision to remain in the care industry, and I am now working for a different company under more reliable conditions. I can't say that I understand the deeper or wider meaning or reason for the shift that led from one care job to the next, but I definitely felt the hand of Amida at play here. And the importance of interfaith resources has not entirely escaped my attention either. I do and have always drawn great nourishment from the teachings of other religions and faith systems, which invariably, in my experience, point us towards the same benign principles and a unified spiritual purpose. Namo Midabu.
Thank you, Philip. Thank you, Jame. So we will sit quietly together for a while. Maybe today, just allowing whatever is inside you to settle tiny bit by tiny bit. Physically, emotionally, spiritually, there may be gusts that stir things up. If that happens, just witness them and wait. And see if over time they begin to settle a tiny bit. If not, that's fine. Maybe trust that they're moving in that direction eventually. For refuge, I go to the Buddha,
For refuge, I go to the Buddha,
the one who is awake and full of love.
the one who is awake and full of love.
Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya.
For refuge, I go to the Dharma,
For refuge, I go to the Dharma,
all that guides us to wisdom and compassion.
all that guides us to wisdom and compassion.
Namo Dharmaya.
Namo Dhammaya.
For refuge, I go to the Sangha,
For refuge, I go to the Sangha,
those who live in the Buddha's light.
those who live in the Buddha's light. Namo Sangha.
Namo Sanghaya.
Namo Sangha.
With faith in the three jewels
With faith in the three jewels,
and in light of our human tendencies,
and in light of our human tendencies,
I pray that I may become aware
I pray that I may become aware
of when I take life.
of when I take life.
I pray that I may become aware
I pray that I may become aware
of when I fall into wrong speech.
of when I fall into wrong speech.
I pray that I may become aware
I pray that I may become aware
of when I fall into sexual misconduct.
of when I fall into sexual misconduct.
I pray that I may become aware
I pray that I may become aware
of when I fall into stealing, taking what is not given, freely given.
of when I take what is not freely given.
I pray that I may become aware
I pray that I may become aware
of when I become I'm not intoxicated, but I pray that I may become aware of when I do become intoxicated.
of when I become intoxicated.
No blame.
No blame.
Be kind.
Be kind.
Love everything.
Love everything.
Innumerable are sentient beings,
We vow to save them all.
inexhaustible are deluded passions,
We vow to transform them all.
immeasurable are the Dharma teachings,
We vow to master them all.
infinite is the Buddha's way,
We vow to fulfill it completely. It's just as well I'm amongst friends, or I might be embarrassed for forgetting all those words. So this morning, walking around the temple garden, which we do every Saturday morning before practice, I noticed that the black Buddha, seated Buddha in the gravel garden, has grown moss just in the week that we were away, all over the lower part of his body. It's really kind of blossomed out of him. We were away last week by the sea, me and Casper, and one of the things we did was watch the documentary that Chris Packham made about the climate crisis and his dilemma about whether or not he should break the law in order to draw attention to the bad things happening. He has been supportive of non-violent civil disobedience for quite a long time, but this was him really grappling with whether it was something he should do or not, despite his fears, as he spoke about during the documentary, about being in prison. He didn't want, he for various reasons, I'm sure, he's afraid of that. And it was deeply moving to witness his emotion, to witness his heart as it was in pain and trying to work out where he could best put his energy in the time that he had left in his career, in his life. And one of the things that he did in the program was go with Marcus's girlfriend to visit him in prison. Marcus and Morgan were the two men that went high up on the Dartford crossing, on right up high, and were given 3.5 years and 3 years respectively in prison. And the last time, I think that, well, maybe not the last time, but I was remembering when we went to Cornwall for G7, Marcus, what the main thing that Marcus did in exile was lead the singing, and he was had a beautiful voice, and he just kind of led his band of singers. We were part of the march that went down through the town. Everyone was really happy to see us, and we hung out with the singers for a while. And yeah, just he's really with me this morning. The thought that he has handed over 3 years of his life, which he wasn't expecting, I'm sure, but anyone that takes parts in these actions know that it's possible, that he's handed those 3 years over in the hope that it will bring attention to something that needs to be seen. And I was thinking about those two things together, Marcus in prison and Morgan and the other people who've all been in prison. I know that Frida, who's Izzy's friend, who's part of the prison support team, I think is organising a day for them at the Fold next weekend, all the people that have come out of prison over the past few years. Those big dramatic actions and all the kind of the smaller but equally meaningful actions that many people have taken, even if it's just a conversation or sharing something on Facebook or liking something, all of the things that people have done. Does it make any difference? Does it make any difference? And the best answer I have right now is, I don't know. I don't know if it makes enough difference. I don't know if it makes any difference at all to the huge global forces that are so powerful and immovable. But I do know that we have a little Buddha that had no moss on it for 9 years. And then this week, it's suddenly shining green. And it feels really important when despair threatens to overwhelm us, that we remember those little things and we remember how long they take. We remember that the conditions over time are always changing and that things are happening at a level that we can't see, on a microscopic level. Who knows what needed to fall into place in order for that moss to grow? Well, Dave probably knows. He can tell us over a cup of tea afterwards. But it suddenly arrived, and I trust somehow, I don't have any proof of this, but I trust that when we take actions with an intention of love, like Marcus and Morgan did and are doing, I trust that eventually something blooms, and that I don't know how long that will take. It might take many lifetimes. But all we can do is support those people and sow our own little seeds of care, seeds of looking after the planet, seeds of looking after each other and our families and ourselves. And remember that the Buddha is bigger than anything we can imagine, and that we can lean into that, especially when we can't remember the words. Namo Mita Be.
In gratitude, we offer this incense to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas throughout space and time. Make this fragrance to serve the self, reflecting our careful efforts, our wholehearted awareness, and the fruits of understanding slowly ripening. May we and all beings be companions of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May we awaken from forgetfulness and realize the together.
So Kusama, I can either pop next door and get the phone, or would you be willing to say a couple of words?
Cry.
Yeah, you're allowed to cry.
So we're going to dedicate the Merit from Our Practice today to an incredible little bodhisattva called Flo, who died of a neuroblastoma this week. And her parents spent the last 3 years raising funds and desperately trying to get Flo well enough to go to Italy for treatment, and sadly that hasn't happened. And in in that process, their campaign was Be More Flow. And I would really like everybody to be more flow, because if you go on their Instagram account, Flow, I loved the flowers. She had the window down and the wind in her hair and the sunlight on her face, and she loved our dear earth so much, and wanted everybody to sprinkle sunshine and sprinkle flowers. And yeah, let's all be more flow and transfer merit to her, to her mum Hannah, and to her dad Ed, and to her little sister Phoebe.
By your grace and through your grace, of your hand of use.
I'm wondering if Flo might have shown me the moss this morning. Thank you, Simone. We'll finish with the close. Oh no, we'll finish with the bow. Blessed by Amitabha's light, may we care for all living things, and the holy earth know only to move.
Not we've all dried our eyes. We're a bunch of old softies. Oh, I think that's been reduced to tears in the morning service. Yeah.
She touched so many people's lives, people didn't even know her.
Still there.
Okay.